to do a bit of a weekend recap from the Dwarf Car race on Saturday, July 8th, and then the next day, the Mini Cup road course race at Grattan on Sunday, July 9th. It was going to be too many words to try to throw up on the screen. After the Dwarf Car race on Saturday, unfortunately, I forgot my GoPro in the car, so I didn't get any footage at all from the race Sunday. So, start off with Saturday, we were in the Dwarfs with the MCR group. It was my first time back at Owosso since I rolled. See my channel if you want the video on that. It was the Tommy Bowles Memorial Race, and I got to meet a guy by the name of Wayne Farr, who kind of pioneered the chassis design and made the jigs that almost everybody's chassis was made with. At the time that he got involved, he really just wanted to make the cars safer than what they had been. And it was really cool to meet him and get to thank him for his contribution to me being able to walk away from rolling the car when that happened. So this time around, I got my first heat win, so that was really, really cool. And obviously for that to happen at Owosso and to happen when Wayne was there and getting to meet him and just having an overall appreciation for the safety and just kind of to come full circle was really, really neat. In the future, unfortunately, not far in, I started to get really bad back cramps, and I just physically, I could not drive the car as hard as I wanted to be able to, or as hard as what the car was capable of. I came home 9th, but the car was definitely capable of finishing better than that. And I kind of feel bad because I probably cost Eric Hoffman the win. I was kind of slow and in the way when I was getting lapped, and I kind of cost him the lead at that point toward the end of the race. So sorry, Eric. But it was still cool to see Cy Bowen get the win after all of the electrical issues that have been plaguing him and his car for a while. So congrats to Cy. And then Sunday, the next day, was Grattan, so it was kind of a late night at Owosso, and then an early morning to get up and get to the track by 8 a.m. to unload all of our cars. It was a non-points race. It was going to be just our 4-car team. If you don't know, that consists of me, my husband Dustin, my dad, and then my brother Bobby. We got a practice and then did a 25-minute feature. The day started out pretty uneventful. At the start of the feature, Dustin in the lead and was just pulling away from the rest of us. It was pretty much like he was in his own zip code there for a little while. So I was pretty much just racing hard with Bobby for second for most of the race. There would be a couple of corners where I might catch up to him and get to the inside of him, but he seemed to have better straightaway speed than I did, so we were pretty close. And then with 2 or 3 laps to go, Dustin ended up spun out of turn 3. And so at that point, by the time he was going to get back going, he was going to be a bit behind. So that left Bobby and I to race for the win. And we were both racing pretty hard at that point. And on the last lap was where everything really started to get crazy. I tried to get inside of him coming out of turn 1 and down the straightaway. But like I said, he was pulling ahead coming into the corner because he had better straightaway speed than I did. And for a fraction of a second, I debated trying to drive it into the corner deeper, try to cut to the inside, because I had done that a few laps prior and was able to get to the inside of him. But at this point in the race, I could tell that my brakes were fading, and I just didn't think I was going to be able to pull that off without getting into him or spinning out. So I decided to just play it conservative and kind of back up my corner entry and just try to be more aggressive on exit to try to get him. And just as we were entering turn 2 after I made this decision, I had backed off and let Bobby have the position going into the corner. And then all of a sudden he started to spin in front of me, and I was figuring, okay, well, I'm going to get the lead. I'm going to get the win now. But just as I was almost by him, I saw his car pick up on 2 wheels, and he started to go over and was rolling a few times. So at that point, I'm freaking out, and I pretty much just slam on the brakes to try to come to a stop. And at the time, my dad was a little ways behind us, but not real far. And so I get on the radio, and I was just screaming at him like, "Dad, stop, stop, stop. He just flipped. He just flipped." And I'm starting to throw my belts off as soon as I come to a stop. And I'm like halfway out of the car when Bobby gets on the radio and is like, "It's okay, guys. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine." And so I'm still pretty much in like need to check on him mode. So I'm running out of the car, and I run over and get to him before the corner worker even does. And so by the time I got there, he had already gotten his helmet off, and I could tell that he was mad, but also in shock. When I flipped, I know that once I came to a stop, I was just kind of like, what just happened? Am I okay? And I could tell he was sort of in that processing stage, like, what just happened? And so, like I said, he was responsive. He knew where he was talking. And few seconds after I got to him, the corner worker pulls up, the ambulance pulls up, and then not long after, Dustin pulls up and stops to see what's going on. And he says that, I can go back to the trailer, I'll grab him a Gatorade, and at this point, we're going to need to pick his car up to get it off the track. Enough had been bent in the steering that he wasn't going to be able to drive it back, and the ambulance wanted to check him out anyway, so while they did that, I drove back into the pits to get him a Gatorade and then get my dad. He had already driven back into the pits after Bobby had said that he was okay, so there's the track exit off of turn 3, so he just pulled onto the pit ramp and went back to the trailer. So I went to go get him to tell him that we need to bring the trailer onto the track to lift the car, because we have an electric lift, and there wasn't anything else at the track that we were going to be able to pick his car up with. We got the trailer onto the track, and we got there, and he's getting checked out at the ambulance, and they said that he might have had a mild concussion because he did have a pretty good bump on this side of his head. But other than that, he didn't have anything life-threatening going on, so they didn't feel the need to take him anywhere in the ambulance. They just said that he would probably want to get that checked out by a doctor. They don't have x-ray vision, so they can't see what might be going on internally. And we got the car picked up, loaded everything up. Bobby and my dad went back to Marshall. When they got there, they went to the ER just to get a more comprehensive check done. They found that he did not end up having a concussion, which was good, but his elbow was a little chipped, just like you would chip a tooth. And they said that it wasn't really serious. He would just need to avoid using it for a couple of weeks and then come back for a recheck, but he doesn't need to have a cast or anything, which could have been a lot worse, all things considered. After all of that was said and done, since none of the rest of us actually finished the last lap, the scoring went back to the last completed lap when Bobby was leading, so he actually still got credited with the win, but that was a really insane way to get the win. So looking ahead, next up I have a doubleheader weekend in the Dwarf Car. This Friday night, July 21st, we are at Birch Run, and then the next day, Saturday, we will be at Whittemore. And so if you've watched this far, then thank you for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.